Hello everybody and welcome back to my sunroom here in East Tennessee. It is the weekend after Thanksgiving and I hope all of you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with family and friends. I'm just grateful for you all. Every Thanksgiving I'm just very grateful for all of my subscribers, my members, everyone who extends their friendship to me through my channel. I just appreciate you all so very much. I had to share with you all the beautiful blooms on Big Red. It is hard to stand here and talk and look at him at the same time. He is just so pretty. There's a lot more buds, believe it or not, that he still has, but he's almost in full bloom. So every year he gives me this gift of this huge plant growing and blooming for me. I just love this plant. Okay, and before I forget to do this, one of my subscribers, Reagan 1980, she said, "Can you please show us how big Big Red is with a yardstick?" And here we go. He spans the whole thing. He is one large cactus. And I'd say, here's the bottom of the cactus. Yeah, that's about, he's about 2.5 feet high and a full yard wide. So yes, when I first got Big Red, he was probably, I don't know, 1/10 this size. And everybody who sees him is just amazed. My family had to come see him on Thanksgiving Day, and they just stand here in utter astonishment as I do. So it's always a treat every year to get to share him with all of you. My channel is sponsored by the Orchid Supply Store, and so many of you have asked me what I repotted Big Red and Snow White in. And here's what I used. I used the Mountain West Products Glacier Gold, this product, and with Big Red, I also placed some small orchiata bark and also some horticultural perlite. The pot was so big and I was afraid that with all of that soil, it would compact down. So I used about 1 part perlite, 1 part of the small orchiata bark, and probably 3 parts of the Glacier Gold. That kind of gives you an idea of the percentages there. And also I love to use clear orchid pots. That's what I have Snow White growing in. The orchid pots give you a lot of drainage, and it's very, very important that they're placed in a pot with good drainage. The pot that I have Big Red in is this 16-inch nursery pot. It's just gigantic. It was it was one of the largest pots that I could find. But Snow White is in the orchid pot. So right now is not the time to repot your Thanksgiving cacti. It will totally confuse them at this point unless it's an emergency type situation. But in the spring, keep these products in mind, because after they quit blooming, that is a good time for you to repot your plants. And when you place your order with the Orchid Supply Store, make sure you use my coupon code Amy, and you will receive a 12% viewer's discount. And here is Snow White, and she is coming out of her first flush of blooms. And as you see, she still has a lot of buds left on her. This one is going to bloom again probably around Christmas. And so many of you have asked me, how do you get these things to rebloom so many times? I went through some notes that I kept over the past few years to see exactly what I did. And I noticed a common thread through some care tips that I kind of wrote in the margins of my notebook about my Thanksgiving cacti. As soon as the blooms start fading, I remove them. That kind of triggers the plant, I can bloom again. Also, I don't overwater when they're blooming. I water about once a week right now, and I water very slowly just until I see the water starting to come out of the bottom of the pot, and then I stop. Because if you water them too much at this time of the year, number one, they're not going to absorb it. And number two, I believe that it kind of signals them I'm still kind of on the, on the dry side. And so I can bloom again. So I believe that the better the light source that you have as well, when you have them in bright light, that is going to help to signal, hey, I need to bloom again as well. Okay, so I was going to go ahead and just kind of show you how I take these spent blooms off. If I don't do this, I end up with a powdery mess on the floor. And I start doing this, I start checking them pretty often. And if you have a bud on one side of the bloom where you're snipping off one of the blooms and you have a bud over here, make sure that you pull the bloom off to the side or that bud is going to pop off. Because that's what I have seen a lot on this plant. And of course, the same's going to happen with Big Red. It's just not time for him to have this done yet. But I make sure that once the flowers start fading, I pinch them off. And you can see they just kind of snap right off. Over here's another one. And so these buds will soon bloom out. And do you notice, when this first started blooming, it was white. And now these blooms look light pink to me. Let me give you a close-up of one. These definitely have a pink blush to them. My friend Trish with Trish's Orchids, she mentioned that she thought that her white Thanksgiving cactus was light pink. And then she started watching as Snow White here started blooming, and she said, oh, mine is the same color of yours. But as you see, now that these blooms have matured, they really do look light pink. They're beautiful. This is the first time that these have bloomed this color, and I believe it's because they're in a better light source here in front of these French doors in my sunroom. So at this point, the care to these is very, very easy. I don't fertilize. If you fertilize the plant at this point, it's just going to confuse it, and the blooms aren't going to last as long. There's no need to. The plant's not growing new foliage or new roots at this point. The plant is converting all its energy to these blooms right now. And like I said, I water about once a week, and that's all, and not very much. A fraction of what I did, let's say, this summer. So I believe that reduction of water also causes them to rebloom. Big Red bloomed last year from Thanksgiving until around the second week of April. It was incredible. We had a very cool early spring, and so he just kept blooming. But make sure that you're giving them enough light as well. The darkness is, of course, going to be what they receive this time of the year anyway, but during the daytime, that bright indirect light helps them to rebloom. And I've been hearing from several of you about your success with your Thanksgiving cacti. That is so wonderful. It's just so nice to hear from all of you. These are such fun plants to grow. And I'm just curious, are your alls blooming yet, your Thanksgiving cacti? I've been asked, if you have a Christmas cactus, is it going to bloom for Thanksgiving? The answer is no, not usually. Big Red here, he has characteristics of both a Thanksgiving cactus and a Christmas cactus. And I'm going to explain to you, I'm going to show you why I say that. He has the blooms of a Thanksgiving cactus, that's for sure. Because Christmas cacti, they look more like a bell when they bloom. But look at these leaves. These are smooth like a Christmas cactus. So I think that this cactus is just unique. He's decided he's going to be a Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter cactus all rolled into one, which is just absolutely fine with me. But I've talked to several people who have actual Christmas cacti, and they say they actually bloom at Christmas time. So if yours is blooming right now, then yours is most likely a Thanksgiving cactus. Now let me show you the leaves of Snow White here, or Snow Light Pink, or I don't know. She's going to be blooming whatever color she wants to as well. But do you see how these leaves are pointed almost like a lobster claw? That is what a Thanksgiving cactus leaves look like. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate your all's friendship more than you know. I'm curious, are your all's blooming? How are your all's plants doing? If you haven't left me a comment, please do so. And I'd also like to know what colors yours are, because my friend Sharon, I think that she has every single color in the rainbow. So let me know what colors your alls are blooming. And I would love to say the blessing over you, your families, and your plants before I end the video. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn His face toward you and give you His peace. You all make it a great day, and we'll talk to you all next time.